Hey, what's up everyone? And well, happy December, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy whatever it is you celebrate, Happy Holidays. Another year is almost behind us, the year 2021 to be exact, and we can safely say, compared to 2020, it's somewhat of a better year, an improvement. We're still getting there, getting back on track to normality, and well, thankfully, yep, my best and most underrated movies list of the end of the year makes a return again. Yeah, I know you probably all missed it, but what are you going to do? With so many postponements and delays from last year, there was no point. But thankfully, since there's been a lot of releases this year, it's coming back. Why not, right? And that's what I'm here to do, people. We're going to start with, well, what I think the best movies are of 2021. Top 10 to be exact. Yep, I'm going back to 10. And maybe a few honorable mentions here and there. So, let's get to it, shall we? Starting with number 10. Encanto. Yes, the Disney animated movie that's fairly new and still playing in theaters as I'm making this video, and also just recently released on Disney Plus. So yeah, it's playing in theaters and you can stream it at home if you have a Disney Plus subscription, no $30 surcharge. So take your pick right there. It's a great film. Maybe confusing to some young audiences, and I know it doesn't really offer a lot of adventure per se, being that it just takes place in the same environment, but the characters are great, and the story is easy to follow. Thank God for its musical numbers, which are fantastic, that explains the story as it goes along, and they're great. The colors, the characters are all great, and it just moves along at a very well pace, and it's sad, it's funny, great mix right there. Disney, you just never fail to amaze me. You never strike out, and this is a perfect example of that. Number 9. Raya and the Last Dragon. Yes, from one Disney animated movie to another. This one I already reviewed. Do I have to say much more? Not a musical this time around, but an action-adventure type movie trying to bring the kingdoms close together. We've kind of seen this concept before. You know, this one's all about trust, and the characters and everything are great. Once again, Disney really has a thing for this, and they haven't struck out once, especially not with this one. Beautiful scenery, animation, humor, everything is great about this movie. Don't have to say much more. They definitely are sniffing up for Oscars on these films. I can tell you that much. Number 8. Free Guy. Okay, I know I haven't reviewed this one, and I did anticipate it. It was supposed to release last year, starring the Deadpool actor Ryan Reynolds, but I did watch it finally, after not seeing it in theaters, unfortunately, and I can safely say it can be a little confusing to follow at first, but you'll understand the concept, and it's really clever. It's not a Ready Player One concept. Instead, he's a video game character that falls for a person in real life, and it has an interesting twist, kind of a, well, awkward, but humorous at the same time romance with an actual human player, and it works well in so many ways. There's a lot of different Easter eggs with different Avenger movies, being that, of course, this is a Fox movie, and of course, because Disney bought out Fox, it technically counts as a Disney movie. Do I have to say much more there? There's lots of good stuff, and a good story to follow, and it paces itself along really well. I mean, Ryan Reynolds was the perfect casting choice to play this character. Do I have to say much more? No, just watch it, and you'll see what I'm talking about right there. Number 7. The Suicide Squad. Yeah, not to be confused with the 2016 film. This is a soft reboot sequel that I guess acts like the 2016 film never happened, and I already reviewed it. Colors are great, under James Gunn's direction, it's great, and Margot Robbie, thank God she didn't get cut from this, because even though the 2016 film may not have been a favorite of everybody's, she was perfect as Harley Quinn, and she comes back full freaking force and kicks some ass, as well as all the other characters that most of them are new in this. So yeah, it's kind of a Guardians of the Galaxy-ish feel, if you get what I mean, because like I said, it's under Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn's direction, and it works great. It may be a little silly, and well, of course it may be very bloody because it is R-rated, so parents be cautioned with watching this one, as I mentioned in my review for this film, but trust me, if you didn't like the 2016 film, this one is definitely an improvement. It definitely shows that DC comic movies are improving. Trust me. Number 6. A Quiet Place Part 2. Need I say much more about this one? No. I enjoyed the hell out of the first one, despite its rather generic concept. and, well, moving a little bit slow with its lack of dialogue, but this one continues the story just as well, if not even better. I already reviewed it for my Halloween Horror Fest of 2021, so I ain't got much to say. You have most of the returning cast members, including Emily Blunt, and even some new faces, and it takes the necessary steps in making it an ambitious and worthy successor. And a little bit of a prologue scene at the beginning, but not to spoil too much. If you love the first, go check out this one. It's worth it. Number 5, Dune. Okay, I didn't know really much about the book, being that I never read it, and, well, I have watched the original, and most of us probably have, being how much of a mess it was, despite gaining a cult following. So they decided to reboot it, go sort of the Stephen King's It route, and of course break it up into 2 parts, being that this is part 1, and there's a sequel coming in a couple of years, obviously. So, yeah, I was surprised to see how well this movie was. I watched it on HBO Max, and the casting, everything about it, the action, it was just fantastic. I ain't gonna spoil much. Just go watch it for yourself, even if you don't know much about the story behind this movie. It's fantastic, believe me. Number 4, West Side Story, based loosely on a remake of the original 1961 film, based loosely on William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, and it's also a musical. So, yeah, a remake. Does it work out? Does it really live up to the hype? Under the direction of Steven Spielberg, it actually does. He just nails it. Nails the shit out of it. I mean, he is fantastic. I mean, the casting choices, the musical numbers, and you can say easily that it actually does, in some points, better than the original version. Not to crap on that one, but this one does even better. The cinematography is gorgeous. The characters, and it's faithfulness to the original source material. It shows that remakes can actually outdo the original. I mean, this is like Little Shop of Horrors from 1986 level of great. Trust me. If you're skeptical on it, go see it for yourself, go watch it, whatever. It's great. Spielberg just does it right. Number 3, ShangChi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Yes, a Marvel Cinematic Universe film, and we've had some good ones, and this is definitely one of them. Yeah. Didn't really know much about the story to this, but trust me, it does connect with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You'll see plenty of Easter eggs and connections as you watch this film, and even if you don't know much about it, yes, I know the subtitle reading, being how it's in Chinese most of the time, the speaking and dialogue and subtitle reading translates it, but you can get through a lot of the action. It's great. It has a lot of kung fu, fighting and everything like that. It has a lot of CGI, which, trust me, it's not distracting. It looks fantastic. I mean, the visuals and the cinematography is just gorgeous. The characters are great. And okay, yes, I know it's the same actress who voiced the dragon in Raya and the Last Dragon. She can be a little annoying with her constant talking. She's more of the comic relief in this. But the main characters themselves, and of course seeing how it doesn't have really a main villain, it works in so many levels. If you watch the movie, you see the plot, you'll see what I'm talking about. And in some cases, they may have even fixed the Mandarin character from Iron Man 3 that a lot of you were pissed off about. So, yeah, it works. It's strange at some parts, but it works. Number 2, In the Heights. Yeah, from one musical to another. This one, again, I really didn't know much about plot-wise. I remember seeing the trailers for this, being that it was supposed to come out in 2020, and it looks like it takes place in Washington Heights, and it does. It's about main characters who are, well, heading to the Dominican Republic and talk about what it's like to live on the streets of Washington Heights, Upper Manhattan to be exact, and talks about their whole life and their story and what it's like during the summer. And the musical numbers just explain themselves over the course of time. The cinematography is great, the casting is great. I mean, there's not one dull moment in this movie that dragged on. I mean, if you're a fan of musicals, this is right up your alley if you enjoy, like, West Side Story and anything like that. Sure, it goes a little over 2 hours, but hey, so did West Side Story, so do I have to say much more? I mean, thanks to music by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who also stars in this movie, you can't ask for any more than that. So, ain't got much to say there if it made it on this spot of the list. And alright, before I get to number 1, a few honorable mentions. No Time to Die. Wasn't a huge fan of James Bond, but thank God I finally got myself into it, and after the delays that this film suffered through, this one was worth the wait. Daniel Craig, well, this is sadly his swan song for this franchise, being the last time he's going to don the character James Bond, but you made it a good one, man. Love to see who's going to take up the mantle next, but you did good. Great action, great characters, and the villains work out pretty well. Ain't got much to say. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yes, if you saw my review on it, go check it out if you have the chance. But in case you didn't, here's the gist of it. 2017's Justice League, the theatrical version to be exact, was not fully directed by Zack Snyder, even though his name was in it at the beginning and opening and end credits, but he had to take a leave of absence, and then the post-production of the film went to Joss Whedon, the Avengers 2012 director. So, yeah, the end result was a rather mixed bag and very underwhelming responses from fans, and I could definitely agree it was just rather rushed. So Zack Snyder came in and said, yeah, I'm going to do this right, and damn, he really did. Sure, he made it over 4 hours, and of course this was released only on HBO Max and eventually released to DVD and Blu-ray, but it's not just there for character filler. It gives the proper amount of character development, it gives the right amount of scenes which make sense to the story, and the action is so much better. It adds so much in there that was definitely needed, including post-credit scenes. So, if you didn't like the theatrical 2017 film, check this one out. This is the one to watch, believe me. And the number one best movie of 2021, Spiderman No Way Home. Yes. Another Marvel Cinematic Universe film, which I have to admit, I was very skeptical on this whole multiverse thing with villains that we've seen in past Spider-Man movies coming into the same universe. And, of course, Tom Holland did great with the last couple of Spider-Man movies and MCU films that he starred in, crossover-wise. But, damn, this one is everything that a comic book fanatic would really want. I mean, the action, the characters, everything about this just does the job. And even for a 2.5-hour runtime, it's entertaining as all hell. I mean, wow. Action, the humor, the character chemistry, it's all there. Sure, some of it occasionally may seem a little cartoonish, and of course Doctor Strange has a lot to do with this, and also be sure to, watch during the middle, and, well, after the credits, I should say, because, well, the MCU is anything but over. But all I could say is, this film certainly shows that Spider-Man does anything a Spider-Man can. So, that's my list right there, people. Till next time, keep watching.